Thank you, Celia. And good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to be with you here at this important summit. Before I begin, I want to give a special thanks to the GSG for hosting this, and in particular to the team that's putting on this event, and I think has done such a remarkable job of adapting to the current situation. So thank you. So I'm here to talk about the impact investing growth story. And it's an incredibly compelling story to tell at an important time for the world. There's a lot of fear in the world right now. Political fear, financial fear, fear for the very future of the planet. And fear is dangerous because it risks driving us to cling to the status quo. But I don't need to remind anyone in this room about that fear because your presence here means that you know it. It also means that you are confronting it. And it means, despite the fear, you are acting with an eye towards hope. Anyone who is a believer in impact investing is a believer in hope. A believer in the possibility of a very different future. A future where financial markets serve all members of society, and a future where finance plays a central role in driving progress. There is so much in the impact investing story to make us hopeful. The Global Impact Investing Network's latest investor survey is the most comprehensive study of the state of the market today. It includes data from 266 investors, representing $239 billion in assets under management. And it gives us a real read on the pulse of the global market. It helps us better understand where we are today and where we're going. As you know, many mainstream investors are already making impact investments today. And our survey shows the diversity of investors in the market right now, from huge global banks and pension funds to boutique firms and family offices. Impact investors are investing in a variety of sectors all around the world and a broad range of impact themes. And about 2/3 of them are seeking market rates of return. Our survey also reveals a great diversity in the geographic focus of impact investors. We are seeing more and more investors broaden their portfolios globally. About half of our respondents plan to grow their allocations in Southeast Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. 40% plan to increase their allocations in South Asia, and 29% plan for increased allocations in Latin America. So what does this all add up to? Earlier this year, the GIN published its first ever market sizing report. We estimate that the current market for impact investments is $502 billion in global assets. And we are seeing new investors enter this market every week. What's more, asset allocations from investors already in the market are also growing. Repeat respondents to our survey indicate that over the past 4 years, they've increased their impact investments by 17% annually. These are encouraging findings. But we don't just need capital at scale. We need impact at scale. That's why impact measurement and management are so important. More than 60% of impact investors are tracking their performance in alignment with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And as you are well aware, the GIN believes that impact measurement and management are core characteristics of what defines good impact investing. And almost all of our survey respondents tell us that they're measuring impact today in one way or another. But credible and comparable data are key to driving real impact results. And that's why the GIN unveiled Iris Plus earlier this year. Iris Plus is the generally accepted system for measuring, managing, and optimizing your impact performance. It offers streamlined guidance, and it's a free online resource. Tracking impact performance safeguards our community's commitment to scaling the market with integrity. And perhaps most important, it is the bedrock of trust with the public, that we are actually achieving the impact that we've promised, that our impact intentions are becoming a reality. The impact growth story is powerful, and it's a credit to our collective efforts. In just over 10 years, we've built an industry. We've engaged countless investors, and we've begun building a broader social mandate for investing in line with our values. There are many global signs of this momentum when we look outside of the impact investing community. For example, I was thrilled to see a new large-scale survey by the UK's Department for International Development, known to many as DFID, which found that 68% of people today in the UK would opt for a sustainable investment if offered. The largest bank in Norway, DNB Bank, is making big internal changes to accommodate what it's seeing as exploding interest in ESG investing. Japan's Government Pension Investment Fund, or GPIF, the world's largest pool of retirement assets, just announced plans to promote and develop more sustainable investing with a focus on green bonds and social bonds, and that it will be applying ESG analysis to its entire fixed income portfolio. Other parts of the mainstream are taking note as well. As several have remarked already this morning, this summer, more than 180 global leaders of some of the world's largest companies that are part of the Business Roundtable committed to a new definition of the role of business, one which balances the needs of shareholders along the needs with a number of other stakeholders, including customers, employees, suppliers, and local communities. Words are obviously not the same as actions, but these global leaders are acknowledging a new reality and their responsibility to take a long-term view on their impact on a much broader set of stakeholders. And that is a measure of how far we've come. But the problems we're facing today are so monumental. We're battered by climate-related disasters. Economic inequality has led to rebellion and repression. The financial markets are volatile. And we're seeing growing distrust in the world's institutions, including government, business, media, and even NGOs. We've burned through 4 years of the time that we have to implement the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And despite some progress, we are still seeing record inequality and unsustainable levels of consumption and production. Not a single major industrialized nation is on track to meet its commitments to the climate accords. And our very presence here is the result of unrest in Santiago. Protests against the stark reality of inequality resulting from the present system. And the people of Chile are not alone. From Beirut to Hong Kong, we've watched a steady drumbeat of unrest, while a rising populist tide moves through Brazil and parts of Europe as well as the United States. People are desperate for something new. And systemic change is on the table in a way that it hasn't been for years. So what does this all mean for impact investing? We must channel that appetite for change to move more capital and to move the needle on those monumental challenges in order to tackle deep inequality, the climate emergency, the most pressing issues of our time. We must think bigger and engage a much broader set of investors. Going back to the current size of the impact investing market that I mentioned earlier, $502 billion US. It's an impressive figure, but it's just a fraction of the overall capital markets. It is absolutely clear that we need more capital working for people and the planet. And I know there's an appetite for this, in this room and beyond. When I think about where this industry is headed, our future growth, I see a tale of two potential futures. In one of those futures, impact investing loses its momentum after a surge of interest. Funding still flows, and we continue to make deals, but growth slows down. The approach remains niche, or is folded into the status quo, a footnote in the history of the financial markets. In this future, we may create pockets of impact, but we don't generate the kind of large-scale change that we'd originally envisioned. In other words, the market grows, but we fail. The other possible future, the one we need to aim for, is a market transformation. In this future, all investments account for their impact. And impact investing helps to successfully fill the resourcing gap for the SDGs. In the second future, we pull the rest of the financial markets along with us, raising the bar for all investments and establishing a new way of doing business. So how do we ensure that the second future becomes a reality? This future of market transformation. I often return to the fundamental vision for the impact investing market that has brought many of us to this work in the first place. A vision of fostering widespread change. The vision where financial markets serve all members of society and the planet. That vision has tremendous power. I want all of you to walk away from this meeting feeling re-energized about the potential for impact investing. And I hope you will consider how you can leverage your unique assets and talent and experience to advance the field, and then redouble your efforts. We have to become ambassadors. We have to think beyond impact investing. And we have to think about the impact we can have on all investing. We need to be talking about how we can align our money with our values. And we need to be inspiring people to seek a positive impact through how they earn, save, spend, and invest their money. That is how we will truly multiply the influence of our movement. In this moment, when fear feels so pervasive around the world, I'm reminded of the advice of the Pulitzer Prize-winning poet and environmentalist Gary Snyder that he gave when someone asked him how to respond to the climate emergency. It's advice that might surprise you coming from an environmentalist. He said, don't feel guilty. Guilt and anger and fear are part of the problem. If you want to save the world, save it because you love it. I'm doing this work because I love the world and I love all of its people. And because I want my young daughter and all of the children to grow into that inclusive and sustainable future that we envisioned. And so together we must keep pushing, keep building, and keep working to show the world a better way. Thank you.